Aline, thank you for joining me today on Pop Culture Unplugged.
Thank you for having me.
Congrats on Hysteria. It was number five last week when I mentioned earlier we spoke to MJ. He told me it was number five.
Yes.
Has it moved up at all? Have you heard anything?
I've been trying not to keep too close an eye on it. It should be number one, so I'm just like, we'll let it simmer?
Hey, when the next few episodes drop, hopefully we'll see it climb right up, right? Especially for
Yeah.
Halloween, right around the corner.
That's what I'm saying. People better binge it. It's gonna go number one. I'm feeling the good vibes.
Easy. So we're gonna jump into Hysteria in a little bit, but I want to, dive into your career a little bit. You've had an exciting journey. I've noticed when I was doing some research on you, with Will Trent as one of the shows that you were on.
Yeah.
Also, what made you jump into the industry? What drew you to acting?
Yeah. I was a little kid and my parents put me in this like summer camp. It was like a musical theater where we did these like junior shows like the Aristocats and I was like Marie and stuff. And obviously I really loved that and musical theater was like my first love and I remember I played like competitive soccer and I did musical theater and one day my choir teacher was like, "We want to give you the lead in the musical, but we got to simmer back on the soccer. You got to pick." And I just was like in that moment like am I going to play soccer for the rest of my life? In middle school, of course. Soccer for the rest of my life, or am I going to be an actor? And then I was like, I'm going to be an actor. And then I just decided, and I was like, I'm going to be really good at this, and this is what I'm going to do. And I guess it stuck.
Hey, while you were growing up and you were sticking with acting, what was your parents' reaction? They want to have a backup plan, or like how did that whole conversation go?
You know, I think they secretly knew because I was always
Mm.
like, I want to be on Broadway, which that dream hasn't disappeared. But my dad was always like, "You're going to be on TV." And I was always like, haha, dad. But, they were always so supportive. I'm really blessed. Like, my parents are my best friends and my little sister. So, yeah, never any like, you need a backup plan. They were like, chase your dreams. We got your back if you need us. And I'm very lucky. Yeah.
Amazing. What's been their reaction seeing you now? What they've seen you on TV with previous projects, or even like with Hysteria. What's been their reaction like?
Oh my God, it was so fun. Because I hadn't seen all the episodes yet, like everyone else. So we got a bunch of balloons and like these like little fake candles, and we all just sat down. We woke up, I think, at like 5 or 6 a.m. and we all got together with some chicken minis and just watched all the episodes that entire day. We binged
Wow,
all eight. Yeah. It was so much fun, and I think that they're proud.
yeah,
I hope.
amazing. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. Throughout your career, dude, you've done, diverse roles. You've done a little bit of everything. Is there like a specific role that you've enjoyed the most?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think I have to say Tonya and Hysteria because it's
Yeah.
definitely like the one I've gotten to do the most with. And
Mm.
I don't know, I just like I loved her. She was so different and unique on the show compared to everyone else. And I don't know, I just had the best time with her. She's got to be my favorite. Matt Scott Kane, our creator, showrunner, just best person ever, gave me a lot of fun stuff to work with. So, yeah.
Mm. How do you transition from a show like Will Trent into like Hysteria? You go from like, like a detective police type of, like show
Right.
to like right into like a horror thriller, a little bit of everything, Hysteria. How do you how'd you go through that?
Well, you know what? Luckily, deep down, the character I played on Will Trent and the character I played on Hysteria, they're both two teenage high school girls deep
Yeah.
down, that want to be seen, want to be loved, like want to be taken care of. And like that's basically at the core of most of the characters I play. So that wasn't too crazy of a transition. Am I allowed to say spoilers? Are you cool? Are we
Yeah, yeah,
cool with
that's fine.
spoilers
Yeah,
now?
yeah. Yeah.
So when I first saw the scripts, I didn't know where it was going, but it's kind of like a joke in our family now because I got kidnapped on Will Trent. And then like by the time the seventh and eighth episode of Hysteria came out, I was like, oh, I'm kidnapped again. And my parents are like, we only ever see you get kidnapped on TV. So the crossover is actually pretty funny.
That's awesome. Well, now, so like I said, mentioned all these roles that you've done. Is there a specific role that you kind of hope you get your hands on someday?
Oh yeah. I'm obsessed with like Euphoria and Tell Me Lies, like the ones that
Yeah.
explore those like super toxic relationships. And I just like I really want to be on a show like that. I think that would be so fun. And also, I want to do more like horror and slasher. I haven't really gotten to do like a horror film, you know what I'm saying? Like a true horror film, and I would love to do that.
Have you had the opportunity to audition for any type of roles like that?
Yeah, I auditioned for I Know What You Did Last Summer, the
Okay.
reboot.
Yeah, yeah.
My gosh, I wanted that so bad. That was like such a fun audition. So something along those lines. And I never watch scary movies. So I watched it with my mom like late at night. And we both were like we were just so scared the whole time. So I'll have to brave it up and do my research if I do ever get one of those. But yeah.
Mm. And it does feel like we, as you know, as everything's changing, with the industry, it seems like we're getting a lot of more of shows like that lately
Yeah,
too.
right? Yeah,
So,
totally.
and we have all those streaming options also, so you might break through one of these walls.
Thanks. Thanks. I appreciate your support.
There you go. Let's turn into Hysteria now. We see
Okay.
you as Tanya. First of all, like tell us a little about the audition for this project.
Yeah, I got like a very limited script. I got two scenes for it and it was like kind of like MJ was saying, it was a regular audition I got but I did read the sides and I was like because my scene with Kiara when she spits the blood on me was one of my scenes that I got for my audition and I was literally like I feel like normally people would be like, ew, like what? When they read that, but instead I was really like, oh my God, I gotta get this. I was like, that looks so fun. But it was really fun too because the casting director, she wanted us to do two different takes, like two different versions, like kind of giving them some options to work with. So I think I did one that was like just as mean as I could possibly be. And then I did another where I was just like a sobbing mess. I can't even remember. But oh my gosh, it was really easy. I did the tapes, I turned them in, I crossed my fingers, and then I heard back that they had sent me to producers and I waited, which felt like it was like forever, but I think it was only probably like a week. And they called and they were like, "You got it. Can you be at a table read tomorrow morning?" And I was like, "Oh,
Wow.
shoot. Yeah, okay." And then I turned on a podcast about the Satanic Panic and I woke up the next morning and there I was.
You mentioned the Satanic Panic, which is a big thing for this series. What did you
Yeah.
find like most fascinating about portraying a character in this setting?
Well, I mean, first of all, I had never even heard of it, which I just think is so crazy because it's a pretty big deal. I'm like, how have I
Yeah,
never learned about this in school or anything like that? But portraying a character in that time, luckily for me, I am like one of the most grounded and realistic people in the sense of like I'm responding the way a normal person I think would respond to
yeah.
the things going on. So luckily for me, I got to react naturally to how I would if people were doing weird cult stuff in my school. You know what I mean? So
Right, right.
luckily for me, that was pretty easy because I also was like, what the heck? Every time I was reading as things digressed, but yeah.
What was the description you were given for Tanya, and like how did you decide you wanted to play this character?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm always thankful for any opportunity. So if my team submits me for something and I do get an audition and they want to see me for it, I'm immediately interested because I'm always open to like a conversation and I want to see like what they want. And if it could be me and it could be like they specifically want me for it and what I'm going to make of it, even though it may not be exactly what they have in mind, I'm always going to be game for anything, first of all. But yeah, the description was it's actually kind of perfect. It was like cheerleader. I think it said like homecoming queen because originally I did get crowned homecoming queen. It got cut because I
Oh,
wasn't there and they were like, "Oh no, where is she?" You know what I mean? But and that I was Judith's best friend and as the series progressed, I had to grapple with my friend's new dark interest and hobbies, which feels like very accurate as the
mhm,
show goes on. Yeah.
mhm. Well, while you were filming this, or even like before you jumped on set, did you like because like there's a lot of metal music, like I mentioned to MJ too. Did you go
Yeah.
back to try to listen to any of that music, and also like takes place in the 80s? Did you do any research on that?
You know what, to be honest, I know I like feel like everyone on our show is like, I'm such a metalhead, I love all that stuff. And I'm like, no, I'd probably be listening to like girls just want to have fun or something. But I feel like that works for my character. So honestly, I feel like I stayed true to like the girly bops and
The
kept it Tanya, you know?
have you heard about the fans too? Like the fans of there's a big Spotify playlist now based off the series. Have you heard
No
about
way,
that?
really?
Yeah, so you might like later on when you get a chance, check it out. Somebody has
Okay.
few people have built a Spotify hit list of the series right on Spotify.
No way.
So if you look at the list of a whole bunch of 80s stuff, I guess that's the way to do it.
I'll have to educate myself, like honestly, especially if we get season two, fingers crossed. But yeah, wait, that's so cool. I had no idea.
Yeah. So, well, like when the fans tune in, what can they expect for like Tanya's journey throughout this series, and like what are you excited mostly about this character?
Ooh,
Without
I
giving spoilers away for this one.
oh, okay, okay. I think I'm most excited for people to watch how Tanya responds to some pretty intense situations and handles the pressure of her peers because I feel like she's kind of unique in the decisions she makes and how she responds in terms of how the rest of the group reacts
That's
to
def
things.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. What do you think for like what are some intense and suspenseful like moments that you were in? Like was there any challenges about playing those certain scenes?
I mean, that's my favorite. So
Yeah.
like, yes, I mean, like I guess trying not to give away anything, like crying for long periods of time and like being covered in blood. I know that would like it's like challenging in a way, I guess, but I think it's so fun. So I feel like no, it wasn't a challenge. It was honestly like those were my favorite nights was the ones where I was like really going through it. I was like, this is the best time ever.
Yeah. You seem so excited that like, I got the feeling that you want to play some serial killer down the road.
No, I think something might be wrong with me, to be perfectly honest. Like when I saw where Matt was going with it, I was literally like, yes. I literally texted him and I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So so this series has an amazing cast. Has been anybody particular that you like you couldn't wait to be on set to work with, or like somebody that if we see a season two, somebody that you get to work with more that you didn't get a chance to work with this time around?
Oh my, that is such a hard question. I've literally just been like watching the show in like complete awe because when you're on set for like as long of a period of time as we were like filming the show because of like the strikes and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like I was there all the time, and then I'm watching the show and I'm like, there are like a million other things going on that I read that I like I'm definitely not a part of, and like watching all of that back. I mean, our cast is just insanely stacked. Like, how crazy is it? Like
Mm,
Bruce, Anna, Julie, like Nikki is so amazing. Episode 5 with Nikki and Anna, I was weeping. MJ and Kazai scene, like, I'm trying not to give spoilers.
right, right.
Everyone is just so talented, but I will say, like, I, after working on the show, look up to Anna so much. She is just the most joyful, contagious personality I've ever been around. She just her smile just
Mm,
lights up a room, and she's so talented and giving and welcoming. It was just so fun. The like one time in the police station when we got to work together, I don't think I laughed more on set, and also it was just like such a great experience because we both just like locked in when it was time to go and watching her and Nikki work together. Those are two people I definitely, if we do get a second season, I really hope we get to explore some of the Tanya Faith beef because I feel
mm,
like there's definitely some underlying stuff there. Our moms being friends and all,
yeah,
and like the church history. I feel like there's some Sunday school beef there, and I would love
mm.
to see that explored.
What do you love about Tanya?
Oh my God. Well, I love her, but then I keep reading on. Well, my mom was like, I listened to a podcast of somebody talking about the show and they only called you the rat. Like they would only call me the rat. And I read that online too. Somebody else was like the rat. And I was like, I guess I'm a rat now. But that's okay because, I think Tanya stays true to herself. And,
Mm,
maybe she's not always the nicest person, but if you were getting peer pressured to do some of the things these people are doing, would
yeah,
you not also like harshly defend yourself and be like, what's wrong with you? I
right.
I mean, I would, but like I play her, so I would fiercely defend her. But I just think Tanya is like one of the most level-headed people here and doesn't fall into like the trap, which I feel like is part of the whole thing Hysteria is about, is like that kind of mob mentality and everyone having the same
Yeah.
ideas and the paranoia, where I feel like while I was scared, Tanya is kind of like, okay, I'm getting out of this. This is wild. Like you guys do your thing. I'll just
Yeah.
get good grades or something. Like, I don't know. I love that about Tanya. She stays true to herself even through the end. She doesn't like fall into the trap or change her mind or anything. She's like, this is what I believe, and I'm gonna stick to it. And I think that's cool.
Yeah. That was nice of you, your mom just tell you that she heard talking about your character.
She was like, "Yeah, everyone's calling you the rat," and I was like, "Oh, I'm like okay, like maybe I kind
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
it."
Hey, it is what it is, right? You're making it work if that's the case.
Thank you. I'm like, I'm gonna make the rat trendy, right? We'll make that cool nowadays.
There you go. You got to make some shirts and everything. Start posting it online.
Wait, that's a good idea. I'm gonna lean into it. I'm like, okay,
There,
fine, then I'm the rat.
there you go. So what are you hoping for the viewers to get out of this series when they tune in? What do you hope they, especially like with your character, what do you hope they feel when they watch you?
I hope they empathize with her because there are going to be people that watch and they're like the rat, like tattling on them, like ugh, like so annoying. But I hope other people watch and they're like, well, if you were in that situation, what would you do differently, honestly? And when it came down to it, I feel like Tanya was honest with her friend. And I think the good takeaway is, like it's okay to stand up for yourself, and maybe sometimes it'll put you in a really almost life altering situation,
Yeah,
but for the most part, it all works out. Karma is karma, and you'll make it through.
that's right. That's right.
That's like
So,
terrible advice. That makes it, everyone's gonna be like, what?
hey, so what's next for you now? Any other projects you're allowed to tell us about that you got working on? Are you coming out or?
Not yet, but like I'm feeling the vibes. I feel like good stuff is coming down the pipeline. I really hope that what I see next is Hysteria season 2, and we all get to come back and make something amazing. And yeah, that's what I'm manifesting, but I'm just manifesting a great year overall. This year has just been great in general. Like I got to spend so much time with my family, and yeah, I'm thankful for that.
That's awesome. Aline, let's end this by how can the listeners and viewers find you on social media, keep up with you? I've noticed you've been
Oh,
posting pictures of the show.
yeah, I have an Instagram. It's Aline O'Neil. I know it's kind of it's like alien, but it's like switch the N and the E. And then O'Neil with 2 L's.
Amazing. Aline, thank you for giving a few minutes today. Let's get a season 2. We'll get you back on. We'll
Yes,
continue the story of the rat.
let's do it. The rat. Bring back the rat.
There you go.